Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Heather with Reflecting Inward Life Coaching, and we're on video 8 of the 26 common mental mistakes. Today we are talking about irrational labeling. These come from Dr. Aldo Pucci's book, Feel the Way You Want to Feel, No Matter What. All right, so irrational labeling. Labeling can actually be very helpful. It is what our amygdala, our brain, uses in order to categorize our surroundings, to notify us if something is dangerous and we need to exercise caution, or if it's helpful to us, or if it's safe. And so our brain automatically categorizes the world around us so that we can quickly retrieve information and that will quickly help us throughout life. However, irrational labeling has some pretty severe downsides when it comes to being in a social world. The first thing is that it can limit us. It can limit not only our beliefs, but because our beliefs are limited, it can limit our choices, our behaviors, our relationships, and so on. It can also lead to self-fulfilling prophecy. So this is that because you have a particular belief, it will happen. So when you have a belief, for example, I believed that my peers did not like me, that I was not acceptable, that I would be rejected by my peers. And because I believed that I was rejectable, that my peers would reject me based upon a few experiences I had had, I started to behave like I was rejectable. And what did that lead to? Being rejected more and more in my adolescence. The next thing is it encourages stereotyping. Now, stereotyping in and of itself is not necessarily negative. It's a part of this labeling process. However, it is very frequently ignored, the action, the behavior that we are stereotyping, and that can lead to terrible, terrible consequences for a society. So some examples of irrational labeling are I'm stupid, she's dangerous, and he's irresponsible. I wanted to give you a quick example also that's not necessarily shown here, but it does have to do with this idea of I'm stupid. When I was teaching fourth grade, I had a student who did struggle. He had some learning disabilities as well as physical disabilities. And they kind of all caught up with him in fourth grade. And because of that, he had grown to expect to fail. So at one point in the year, he was saying, "Oh, I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail." And he was just wailing. He wasn't crying. He just was expressing very loudly his expectation that he was going to fail. And I kept trying to be very encouraging. No, you do great. Just do your very best. Just do your best. Don't worry about failing. Just do your very best. And he kept expressing this very loudly. So finally, I squatted down next to him and I said, "You know what? You're right. If you believe that you're going to fail, you will fail. But what might happen if you choose to believe that you might pass?" And let me tell you, when I got through the first part of what I was saying, his facial expression was, "Oh, I'm gonna fail." But by the time I finished, his face changed from to kind of like, "I've never thought about it that way." And this is the idea of self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe you're going to fail, you're going to fail. This is rampant in America's education system, especially since there's unconscious stereotyping of teachers of their students happening in classrooms. And that unconscious stereotyping is creating this self-fulfilling prophecy. They don't have to say a word. They just have to go about their business, and students notice. They're talking to white students more than me, more than us. They're talking to male students more than female students. The behavior of teachers actually trains us unconsciously to believe things about ourselves. Okay, so moving on. Let's do some examples here. Okay, the inaccurate label of I'm stupid. So we're going to use rational emotive behavioral therapy on this. This is Dr. Pucci's system of cognitive behavioral therapy. And so we're going to use it. It's drastic use of rational thinking. Okay. So if I look up stupid in the dictionary, there's a picture of you. What we're saying here is, I am stupid. I am a dog. So if you look up a dog in the dictionary, you'll see a picture of a dog. Okay. I am stupid. Okay. So if you look up a picture of, look up stupid in the dictionary, is there a picture of you? Well, obviously not. Okay. So there are stupid actions, but not objects. People with low intelligence are still people with low intelligence. They are not stupid. So again, you're like, oh, come on, you're just mincing words here. You know what? People used to be like, I hate it when people say, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat. I'm like, no, you're not fat. I would say, you're not fat, you're Angie. You have lipids on your body that have created something we call fat. You are not fat, you are Angie. And even though that's being drastically rational, it actually does help us keep things in perspective. Okay. All right, next. No. All right, this next one is a narrow view. If she's in our group, we'll fail because she's dangerous. Okay, so how does being dangerous affect her ability to be a good group member? Let's look at her strengths. Okay, so just because someone may be dangerous, and let's look at that. What does someone call dangerous? We all have different definitions of what dangerous is. So let's look at that. What do you mean dangerous? In what ways is she dangerous? Okay, so how are those things related to how she is in a group? Have you ever observed her in a group setting? Have you ever observed her in a group project setting? Okay, so if you've observed her in a group project setting, does she still exhibit those dangerous behaviors? Okay, so if you're like, okay, well, maybe not. Okay, then you think about her strengths. What strengths does she have that she could possibly bring to this group project together? And then you believe those things. You got to believe those things, got to give the benefit of the doubt, because again, self-fulfilling prophecy. Your stereotype affects people. Your beliefs affect people, even if you don't say it to their face. Okay. He's irresponsible, so you can't trust him. Well, what can irresponsible people do? I'm assuming he eats, he sleeps, he puts on clothes before he leaves the house, on and on and on. So obviously he does do some responsible things, even though you think he's irresponsible. Except in addition to that, let's think about what irresponsible means, again, our definition, and what examples you can think of that say that you can't trust him. Okay, I want to do one more example, a combination of this. So what if this young man, this irresponsible young man, was the one in the group project from the last example? What if you and your team were thinking, oh no, we don't want Charlie to be in our group because he's irresponsible. You can't trust him to get his part done. Well, then let's think about where that belief comes from. Tell me about the experience you had with Charlie before that made you feel like you couldn't trust him. What in your mind makes him irresponsible? And then, again, benefit of a doubt, start thinking about other things. What other things might be happening in Charlie's life that may have resulted in those behaviors, those things? Maybe he didn't do his part last time because he didn't get enough sleep, because he was stressed, because this project isn't using his strengths and he feels very incompetent in the way this project is needing to be presented. Maybe he has his own limiting beliefs that are holding him back. Okay? There may be many reasons why he appeared to be irresponsible in the past. So let's go with a benefit of a doubt. Let's talk to Charlie. Let's talk about the project itself and his feelings about the project, what his perspective is of how the project is going to end up, and what he feels like the greatest strengths he has to contribute to that project, right? So again, Irrational labeling limits us, limits those around us, and it limits our relationships. It leads to self-fulfilling prophecy, and it encourages stereotyping in a negative way that hurts us and others. I hope you found this video to be helpful and that you'll check out the others if you haven't already. Please feel free to send me a message or email, and I'll respond as quickly as I can. I hope you have a wonderful day. You are loved, you are beautiful, and I hope that to see you next time. Have a great day.